Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Pirates designate a former first-round pick for assignment. Steelers start week 2 of OTAs tomorrow. And was there another questionable hit in the Stanley Cup playoffs from a familiar face? We'll talk about those things and more tonight on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm your host, Josh Taylor, joined live in the 93.7 The Fan newsroom by one half of the PM team, weekdays 2 to 6. Chris Mueller is in the building. Chris, I got to see the T-shirt. Let's just get it out of the way. Anything good for me tonight? We're not topping the Al Bundy?
Boring. No, boring, unfortunately. This is more, I call this one, it's inspired by the static when you didn't have cable that you would get. Like you'd go to channel 3 by accident and 2 and 4 and everything else. So it's just a very basic shirt. I'm sorry, Josh. Had I known that you were hosting tonight, I would have brought out my Sunday best.
You set the bar so high with the Polka 33 shirt with the Al Bundy. You set the bar high. I'm expecting greater things the rest of the week. That's all I'm saying.
4 touchdowns, city championship.
There you go. 412-575-2600. Give us a call on the Borders and Borders hotline. Chris, we got a couple of things to get through here. Let's start with the Pirates news here. They designated Cole Tucker for assignment. This was a guy, Chris, I think we've been getting questions about on this show for the last at least couple seasons. Just probably since he first made his appearance, his MLB debut in 2019. Hit a home run that day in a game that was actually shortened against the San Francisco Giants because of weather. And then after that, he's hit 4 home runs since then. A little bit over 400 plate appearances as a Pirate. 211 batting average, 573 OPS. So his numbers not very stellar by old school or new school standards. Your thoughts on this move, Chris?
I mean, I think it was something that pretty much had to happen. He could not hit whatsoever. I mean, his OPS this year, Josh, in limited action was under 400. I mean, those are pitcher numbers. Those are like what you would expect literally out of almost any pitcher when they still hit. It was not really better at Indianapolis. He just cannot hit major league pitching. I know he stopped switch hitting and hoped he could concentrate on just hitting from the left side, but he couldn't hit, period. You know, I don't know about you, but this goes back to Neil Huntington's strategy of let's try to draft middle infielders, guys who have athleticism, and mold them into pieces that work. In theory, Josh, I think that's a good plan for a team like the Pirates. That's your best chance to get just a hugely talented athlete. But you have to make sure that they can actually play baseball. You have to make sure that they can actually be brought along by your development team. He's another failing of the Huntington regime, in my estimation. They identified maybe the wrong guy from a weak draft class, and they didn't bring him along to the best, to become the best version of himself. What will really be troubling is if the Pirates end up being the team that couldn't get something out of Cole Tucker, but somebody else does. Because Lord knows we've seen that happen enough with players who leave here and either after one stop or at their next stop end up blossoming. That'll be a problem. I don't know if you saw Kevin Kramer. Remember, he was supposed to be the one half of the famous Seinfeld double play combo, Newman and Kramer, a guy that was supposed to have a little thunder in the bat for a middle infielder. Just dressed down the Huntington regime today on Twitter. Now, granted, it's Kevin Kramer. It's a guy without much of a big league track record, but he suggested that maybe it was the fault of the people trying to bring along players in Huntington's kind of whole regime that were part of the problem. So it's frustrating. You asked me for my basic thoughts. I kind of rambled here and just gave you a bunch, but it's just frustrating because it's another name that was supposed to be a player that was going to help the Pirates, and now his career with the team almost certainly looks over unless they really want to bring him back if he clears waivers and everything else.
Yeah, they got about a week to sort that out. Of course, he can either be traded or placed on irrevocable waivers. If he's not claimed or not traded, then the team has 2 options after 7 days. They can either release him outright or they can send him down to AAA. But, you know, to amplify your point, when we're looking at the past draft picks of Neil Huntington, only a couple right now seem to look better out of the bunch, because we're talking about 2014 as far as that Cole Tucker pick. And then the other pick from 2014, I think it was a sandwich pick, Connor Joe, got traded out not too long after they drafted him. So we're talking about a general, if you're looking with a wider scope on just first round picks from Neil Huntington, he's missed a lot more than he's hit on, and that's going to be part of his legacy as we take a look at it with time. Let's take a shift over. I want to get to this now. Rangers and Hurricanes in Raleigh. Right now, Rangers, I believe, leading this one 4-0 in the third period. There was a hit in the second period. I believe it was the second period. Jacob Trouba on, I believe it was Seth Jarvis that took him out of the game, and he ended up collapsing over on the bench. But another hit with Jacob Trouba in the playoffs, Chris, and it seems like, well, nothing really to be done about it. Doesn't look like it was a pretty clean hit. Looked kind of suspect. First of all, did you see it? And second of all, what'd you think about it?
I got to look. I can give you a score update. Last I checked, it's now up to 5-1 Rangers, so they're going to move on. But, man, that one, it didn't look as bad as the initial Crosby hit looked from the initial angle we saw. Although the Crosby hit, the more I looked at it, it still looked a little high, but it also looked like it was almost an optical illusion that his elbow actually made principal contact. It looked like Crosby's head snapped back on shoulder to shoulder because it was just such a thundering hit. The guy has been involved, however, in how many different plays now just this postseason that have, at the very least, Josh, whether I think that they are clean or not, he's playing right on the borderline. And we see that too much in the NHL, and too often guys like Trouba are tolerated. Not only that, they're protected. Here's the thing. People might not like this. The hockey purists might not like this, although I don't think there are many people left who love the way Jacob Trouba does his business. You want to know the hard truth? In the NFL or the NBA, where they protect their superstars, if a guy was running around even delivering borderline hits, right, like even maybe marginally legal, maybe he wasn't doing anything wrong, they would squash him like a bug to make sure that he got it to be much safer. I mean, James Harrison was this way. He complained about it all the time, even as a marquee defender. The NHL simply does not think that it's an issue that a guy like this runs around and has multiple controversial plays in one playoff run.
And I'll add something on to that. Those two leagues also, when you've been found guilty of that a couple times, that reputation follows you. And they get a lot more stringent each time you go afterwards, and each time after that, so on and so forth. They make those punishments a little bit more harsh. How many players have we seen in basketball? Let's start with Rasheed Wallace. We'll go with that one. He just gets teed up for looking at a referee wrong because he has this reputation of what he's done in the past. That reputation follows you also in those two leagues. We got Sean on Twitter who says, Trouba up to his same old ways with his high hits. Hope Tampa has been watching. Keep your heads up and on a swivel. And, of course, should the Rangers hold on to that 5-1 lead, which they're likely to do, they will go on to face the two-time defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning in the Eastern Conference Finals. We will take a break. When we come back, we're taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. Stick around.